The action of the film begins with the first chapter titled Tom. A rich heir, despite his father's prosperity, is forced to work in a bookshop. Tom is carefully reading a book when a female visitor appears in his field of vision. Sandra is looking for an interesting book and chats amiably with the heir. Tom also shows sympathy for the girl, and when her card fails, lets her take the book with a promise to bring the money later. The heir also invites the girl to dinner, but she refuses. In the evening, Tom is closing the bookshop when he is approached by the same girl again. Sandra gives the heir money and is about to leave, but at the last moment says that she would still very much like to go to dinner with him. While sitting in the restaurant, Tom tells her that he lost his mom and started working in a bookshop to get out of his depression. Sandra also mentions that she lost her parents. Her favorite book from childhood was Jan Eyre. Hearing this, Tom offers to show the girl something. Together, they go back to the bookshop. Tom opens a special shelf with a key where various rare editions are kept. The heir shows Sandra a first edition of Jan Eyre, from which the girl is absolutely delighted. The couple kisses, and soon they begin an incredible relationship. Tom spends a lot of time with his favorite girl and doesn't get tired of admiring her. One night, the heir hears a strange noise. Sandra tells that her brother came, who again needed money. Soon comes Tom's birthday. At the celebration, Sandra meets his friends and makes a good impression on everyone. One night, a girl asks why Tom has never invited her to his place. With a sigh, Tom tells her that he lives with his father, with whom they don't have a very good relationship. The next day, the heir visits Sandra again and sees that she is in a state of shock. The girl tells him that her brother owes a large sum of money, and he has been severely punished. Sandra says that she has to pay $350,000 in 4 days, but it is impossible to get such money. Tom unexpectedly declares that he can give her this amount. The heir confesses that his father is very rich, and that he himself doesn't just work in the bookshop, but owns it. Sandra refuses to take the money several times, but then still changes her mind. The next day, Tom brings the right amount of money and gives it to the girl. Sandra is going on a trip to give the money and suggests meeting in the evening at the restaurant where they had dinner the first time. Hugging Tom, the girl apologizes to him. In the evening, the heir waits for Sandra for a long time. However, she doesn't appear. Tom searches for the girl, but all in vain. The second chapter begins, which is about Sandra. A few years before what happened, Sandy walks into a bar on Christmas Eve. The girl is having a conversation about her conditional release. The police officer says she has the right to arrest Sandy, at least now, for quitting her job and continuing to use illegal substances. For offering a bribe, the girl is about to be led out of the bar in handcuffs. However, a bar patron suddenly stands up for Sandy. Max talks to the police officer and gives her his expensive watch to save the girl. The man offers Sandy a car ride with him. Max puts on another watch, which also looks like a very expensive model. Sandy suddenly realizes that the police officer left with nothing and also gave the man the money herself, which was the change for the watch. Max gives the girl her share and then brings her to his flat. The man tests Sandy to make sure she's clean of substances. Max then says that the girl can stay if she wants to continue working with scams. In the morning, Sandy wakes up in the con man's flat. Max talks to the girl interestedly about her favorite film and then admits that he has not seen it, but was able to give the other person a completely opposite impression. The con artist leaves Sandy a lot of newspapers to read and also warns that for each swear word, she will lose $100 from her share. In addition, Max gives the girl the name Sandra. In the evening, the con man returns home. Max finds Sandra in the bathroom and sees that she has been using illegal substances. Silently, the con man kicks Sandra out, despite her promises not to do it again. Soon, Max does approach the girl crying in the corridor and tells her that she must stop self-destructing. The con artist begins to seriously train Sandra. Max makes up a whole legend for the girl about her life. Sandra grows into her new identity. She learns quotes and plays chess to improve her ability to calculate moves. One day, Max offers the girl to have a martini. They go to a posh restaurant, where the swindler confesses that it is his birthday. Max is impressed by Sandra's success and suggests that she test her strength. The con man points to a man sitting at the bar and says that Sandra must convince him to invite her to his room in 40 minutes. The girl succeeds, and soon Max bursts into the room. The con artist plays the role of an indignant husband. Sandra manages to orientate herself, and she plays along with him. The girl asks the owner of the room to leave them alone for a while. Max takes the money and earrings, which he gives to his ward. The con man says that it is not worth sympathizing with the objects, because it is impossible to deceive a truly honest person. Sandra unexpectedly kisses Max and wishes him a happy birthday. At first, the con man holds back, but then passionately kisses the girl. The third chapter begins, dedicated to Max. In a tipsy state, the con artist appears at an event. There, Max is met by his mother, along with a rich suitor, Richard. Meline decides to talk to her son alone. Max says that he has broken up with his girlfriend and has nowhere to live. Meline says that he can stay here, but she really hopes that her son is clean. Max plays out a scene where he suggests to his mother that she see for herself that he is clean. The mother reconciles with her son and allows him to stay. Standing nearby, Richard observes the scene. The next morning, Meline has a friendly chat with her son and then leaves because she is late for a meeting. Max is left alone with Richard. The millionaire invites Max to a charity reception, but the guy refuses. In the evening, Richard, together with Meline, sees how the policemen try to arrest the con man. The woman guesses that everything is set up and chases Max away. Later, Meline pays a visit to her son's room. In fact, the woman and Max are in a love relationship, and the family pretend to be in order to become from Richard a large sum. The next day, the millionaire invites Max to his office. There, Richard is confronted by his son. Tom is offended by his father's cold attitude, and he leaves. In his office, Richard tells him that his son is depressed. The millionaire is even willing to buy him a bookshop if it will help relieve Tom's sadness. Richard gets back to business and makes an interesting offer. The millionaire is ready to pay Max a large sum in cash, and in return, he must promise that he will no longer contact Meline. The swindler agrees, but wants to get the money in cash. Richard gives Max a whole bag of money. In the evening, the con man celebrates his victory with Meline and another accomplice. Meline is about to go to the millionaire's house to pack her things and leave under the pretext that her aunt has fallen ill. Max waits for the woman in the room for a long time and soon receives a phone call. Meline informs him that the millionaire has proposed to her and she has decided to accept. Max is pleased that he alone has received all the profits. However, he warns the woman that sooner or later she will give herself away. The chapter on Meline begins. After a while, Richard passes away. In the bathroom, Meline gives her face a crying look and then comes out to the guests. The notary talks to the widow and Tom. It turns out that Richard left most of his fortune to Meline. The millionaire considered his son unreliable because of the situation that happened with the money given to Sandra. Meline is enjoying her rich life and feels that she can finally afford anything she wants. One day, the woman hears a noise in her flat. Investigators, together with Tom, tell her that they managed to find the girl who cheated the guy. However, her trail is abruptly lost after she is released on conditional release from prison. Investigators believe Sandra had accomplices. Soon the girl is found. She blackmails Meline, demanding that the lady find Max. Soon it succeeds, and all the accomplices meet in one place. There they are caught up with Tom along with agents. The guy threatens Meline with a weapon. However, during the scuffle, he lost his life. Meline promises that she will give all the money to the fund that belonged to Tom if she is not sent to prison. The woman manages to pull off another scam, as she is Tom's trustee, so she can manage the money from the fund on his behalf. After signing the contract, Meline and her accomplices board the plane. The woman tells Max why she is so calm, even though it seems that she has missed out on a fortune. Sandra becomes sick of talking about eternal gain, causing her to go to the loo. Meline decides to remove the stains from her shirt and realizes that they come off too easily, as if they were paint. The woman suddenly realizes that Tom is actually alive, and that what happened in the wasteland was staged so that she would give up her inheritance and give it to a foundation. Meline shouts at Max, but he swears he had no hand in it. The woman remembers Sandra and goes to the toilet, but it is empty. The girl has already left the plane. In fact, Sandra confessed her scam to Tom a long time ago. According to Max's awareness and his words, the girl realized that Meline intends to disinherit Tom. The couple turned to a former accomplice of Meline and Max, who gladly told them what could be done in such a situation. After that, preparations for the scam began. Meline had to be sure that Sandra had not been seen for a long time and was hard to find. She should also have had no doubts about Tom's behavior, who was deliberately cordial about money and inheritance. The scene with the gun had been rehearsed many times. Now the deed was finally done. Tom is alive, and the inheritance from his father has rightfully passed to him. Sandra pays off her accomplices and turns to her lover. The girl suggests Tom to go again to the restaurant where their first date took place. This is the end of the film. Thank you all for watching this video to the end. Give this video a like, write in the comments what you think about this film, and see you in new videos.